Good morning. I'm Commissioner Dwight Keene. I'm joined this morning by fellow Commissioner Annie Keither. Chair French is elsewhere on commission business this morning. At this time, I will call to order this meeting of the Kansas Corporation Commission on this 5th day of March, 2024. First matters up for our consideration have to do with the consent agenda. We began with 24 items on the consent agenda. However, I'm going to pull item number 6 from the consent agenda so that it may be carried over and considered at our next business meeting on Thursday, March 7th. That leaves us with 23 items on the consent agenda. We have had the opportunity to review the contents of the orders in each of these matters. So I would turn to you, Commissioner Keither, ask if you have any questions, comments, or concerns.
Not at this time. Thank you.
Very good. Is there a motion with respect to the consent agenda?
I move the consent agenda.
Be approved? I would second that. Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor of the consent agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. The consent agenda is approved. We have two noticed items this morning, the first of which is in docket number 24-S UNW-590-SHO. This is in the matter of initiating a show cause proceeding against Sundowner, Inc. to obtain a certificate of public convenience and necessity to operate as a water utility and to enforce cold weather rules for meter disconnections within Sundowner, Inc.'s water distribution system. Our presenter this morning is our General Counsel, Brian Fedotin. Good morning, Mr. Fedotin.
Good morning, Commissioners. On February 26th, Commission staff filed a report and recommendation requesting the Commission issue a show cause order to Sundowner, which operates a water system serving 2 private home subdivisions in Saline County, Kansas, and has been the subject of numerous complaints. In the course of staff's investigation, staff discovered that Sundowner does not have a certificate of convenience or necessity to operate as a public utility. Based on staff's belief that Sunflower is operating as a public utility and then is in violation of Commission billing standards, including the cold weather rule, it seeks a Commission order directing Sundowner to comply with the provisions of the cold weather rule. Based on staff's report and recommendation, this order finds there are sufficient grounds to enter a show cause order, giving Sundowner 30 days to explain why it should not be required to apply for a certificate of convenience and necessity. Until Sundowner's rates have been approved by the Commission, its rates are considered interim and subject to refund. To protect customers while staff conducts its investigation, Sundowner shall restore service for all disconnected meters within 24 hours of receiving a request from staff. Before any further disconnects, Sunflower shall provide documentation to staff justifying those proposed disconnects. And while staff's recommendation does not include any penalty recommendations, it does advise Sunflower that pursuant to KSA 66-138, it may be subject to a civil penalty of at least $100 a day for failing to comply with the public utility statute. With that, I'm available for questions, and I see that members of technical staff are also on the Zoom link in case you have more detailed technical questions that they can handle.
Very well. Thank you, Mr. Fedotin. Let's see if we have any questions. Commissioner Keither, I turn to you. Any questions or comments? All right. I'm going to just ask this question. I think, Brian, you provided an excellent overview of this particular docket. However, we do have our technical staff present, and I would ask either Mr. Haynes or Mr. Owings if there's anything that by way of a technical background that they would care to add to the overview that Brian has provided.
Sure. Thank you, Commissioner Keene. I don't know that we've met, but Paul Owings, new Deputy Chief Engineer. Glad to be here. So we have been working with him and been out there. The operator and owner, Scott Colleen, appears to be cooperative, and he is working on the problems. He acknowledges both the billing issue and the quality issue. He's changing his billing software and trying to work out the problems with the inconsistent billing and charging people late fees inappropriately and some of the other problems. He's also hired an outside consultant to do water quality testing because there is a quality problem. KDHE's indicated that it's not a health and safety issue, but it does cause the water to be discolored and have a bad odor. So it's more of an aesthetic issue. So he's trying to hone in his chemical dosages that way this iron and manganese doesn't kind of precipitate out and cause these issues. He's taking some proactive steps. I don't think he understands the process. I don't think he understands what's going to occur next. He's worked for municipalities. He is a certified operator, so I think he understands operating a water system. However, the public utility status is probably completely foreign to him, and he's been there about 2 years. Yeah, prior to that, Monty Shadwick, who's a county commissioner in Saline County, owned it for a few years. It seems that Monty Shadwick bought it from the Norton Family Trust after Frank Norton passed away, and later on hired Scott as the operator. And then for whatever reason, he hasn't told us, he didn't want to speak with the KCC. He either gave it to or sold it to Scott Colling, his operator. So I think Scott too works in Oklahoma, lives in Great Bend, so he may be stretched a little thin to handle all this, but that's kind of the history. He seems to want to make it right, but I guess time will tell what actions he takes.
Very good. I appreciate that overview, Paul. Let me just ask one follow-up question, if I might, just for the benefit of the commission, because dealing with water utilities is a bit of a rarity in my experience here. How does the responsibilities or regulatory obligations of the commission either intertwine, overlap, or combine with those of KDHE in terms of water systems?
So the way I see it is KDHE is looking more for the health and safety of the consumer. And I think a lot of their standards are based on what the EPA provides, and then they adopt those standards. So they review the maximum contaminant levels and things. I think there is a little bit of intertwining. I would say the separation is the billing requirements and the consumer protection. That's the separation. But I could see there being some overlap of responsibilities in terms of quality when it comes to the aesthetic, which is a quality question. And, in terms of providing sufficient service, if you can't drink the water because it has such bad aesthetic that it tastes and smells so bad, I think we could get potentially into the quality realm of it. So that's kind of how I see the two agencies working together. But in terms of testing for maximum contaminant levels and monitoring chlorine and making sure the operator is doing those things right, I would say that's probably all of KDHE's responsibility.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, Paul. It's an outstanding overview. I appreciate the granularity with which you responded very much.
Yeah.
Let me backfill just a little bit and see if there are any further commissioner questions. Commissioner Keither?
No, I don't have any questions. I appreciate the filling in of information about the operator. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes forward. So thank you for that.
Thank you for having me.
Very good. All right. I believe we've probably exhausted all the questions we have at this time. So I will call the question. Well, first of all, do we have a motion?
Yes, I move that we accept the report.
And approve the docket?
Yeah.
The order in the docket? Very well. I would second that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. The order is approved. Thank you all very much. We'll turn to the next docket, and that is docket number 23-CONS-3345-CPEN. And this is in the matter of the failure of Haas Petroleum LLC as operator to comply with KAR 82-3-120 and KAR 82-3-133 by operating under a suspended and a revoked license. We have before us a final order. And to provide us with some overview for that, I would turn to our Assistant General Counsel, Jonathan Myers. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Commissioner Keen, and good morning, Commissioner Keither. Before you, the final order before you rescinds the shut-in order that was issued in this docket on June 6, 2023, and the $50,000 penalty assessed thereunder. It does, however, authorize staff to keep the wells remaining on operators suspended and an expired license, shut in and sealed until those wells are placed on an active current license. With that, I am available for any additional questions.
Okay, let's see if we have any. Commissioner Keither, any questions for Mr. Myers?
No, thank you, but it sure is nice to start with a hearing and see the final product. So this is just right. Thank you.
Provide some closure.
Yeah.
Very good. I have no questions for Mr. Myers either. Is there a motion in this particular
I
order?
move that we approve the order.
I will second that. Yeah, pardon me, didn't mean to talk over you. I'll second that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The order is approved. Thank you very much, John. Well, by my reckoning, I believe that is the conclusion of all those matters that were scheduled for our consideration this morning. Commissioner Keither, unless you have anything further that you would like to address this morning, I would entertain a motion that we adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much and take care.
Thank you. Bye.